Death dumps, otherwise known as chemical trails, are being dropped and sprayed throughout the United States, in England, Scotland, Ireland, Northern Europe, and I have personally seen them not only in the United States but in Mexico and Canada. Birds are dying around the world. Fish are dying by the hundreds of thousands around the world. This is genocide. This is poison. This is murder by the United Nations. This element within our society that's doing this must be stopped. I happen to know of two of the locations where the airplanes are that dump this crap on us. 4 of the planes are out of the Air National Guard, Lincoln, Nebraska, and the other planes are out of Fort Still, Oklahoma. I personally have observed the planes that were standing still in Nebraska, Lincoln, Nebraska, at the Air National Guard. They have no markings on them. They're huge, bomber-like airplanes with no markings. This is a crime. Crime against humanity, crime against America, crime against the citizens of this great country. They must be stopped. What is wrong with Congress? This has an effect on their population and their people and their friends and their relatives and themselves. What's wrong with them? What's wrong with the pilots who are flying these airplanes? They're dumping this crap, this poison, on their own families. Somebody has to do something about it. Somebody in Congress has to step forward and stop it now. Thank you. I'm Ted Gunderson.
My friends, the late and great Theodore Gunderson, former head of the FBI in LA, Dallas, and Memphis, requested of me and of his daughter that an autopsy was made of his body. And I thought, well, we had discussed that during his life. If anything were to happen to him, he wanted to find out what made him die. So for 6-7 weeks, he laid in cold storage waiting for an autopsy. I don't know if it's come out formally, but it has been done. You said that with his fingers becoming colored or purple, is that a sign of anything?
Yes, that's one of the signs of arsenic poisoning. And several individuals in the past have turned into a black mummy as a result of acute arsenic poisoning, such as Lenine and the John Wilkes Booth double. But I had Ted under some type of treatment for a number of years with a certain special diet, rich in sulfur, rich foods, to neutralize the arsenic. And as a result, his fingernails, which had been dark purple black, had cleared up. But he was very busy in fighting the enemy, and he was receiving 30 phone calls a day, and as a result he did not go down to seek the treatment of alternative medical clinics, which would have subjected him to a process of chelation and other therapies to eliminate all the arsenic. One of the common results of arsenic poisoning is cancer of the bladder.
How do you get arsenic poison? Well, unless somebody wanted to kill you.
Well, it depends on, it can be occupational, a person working in mining, a person working in the chemical industry.
I don't consider him gone. He's still here for what he's done. Ted Gunderson, former head of the FBI in Los Angeles, Dallas, and Memphis. He was opposed to the installation of smart meters, which we refer to as murder meters, and he's opposed to the death dumps that have been going on in this country. In fact, here in Covina, California. If you take a look at the sky, there's the residue of death dumps.
That's correct.
Nanoparticulates, aluminum oxides, sulfur, hexafluorides, strontium, barium, etc. He was concerned that the FBI and the CIA and those government agencies which control this country and are now trying to control the world and establish a global government are poisoning us. In the background, you'll hear a machine. They're taking off smart meters in this neighborhood. You know Deborah Tavares.
Yes, I do.
And
very intelligent, pleasant woman.
Oh, absolutely. Her husband is out there pulling these smart meters off and putting on analog meters. Ted was opposed to all of this. I spoke at the Eagle Forum in Long Beach, or the Long Beach Eagle Forum. You were there.
Yes, I was.
They're a bit upset because I talked about the truth. I asked her, I said, do you want to hear the truth? Do you want me to go according to the program? I was speaking for Ted Gunderson. He couldn't make it. He was in the hospital. I stepped up and stood in his place.
I remember that, and I appreciated the way you handled it. You told the truth. That's the important thing.
Does the truth upset people when you talk about those things which they feel incapable of changing?
I believe so. Some people are restricted to a certain viewpoint, and they want to stress that viewpoint, and they don't want to have broken in interference with that viewpoint. However, I, like yourself, feel that the truth should be told at the opportune time, and Ted would have probably said, I'm sure he would have said the same thing that you said.
Well, I felt, speaking for him and knowing him as I did, that he would address those things regardless of whose cage he rattled. He felt that possibly he would be poisoned. Somebody would try to take him out. He'd mentioned several attempts on his life. There's been a couple on mine, at least insofar as the gunshots are concerned. When he finally passed, and I felt that he probably would, but we had thumbs up. We felt maybe we could get through this. I was at the hospital with him at the very end. He tried a lot of various things. He wanted to have an autopsy, and then when the autopsy was done, we don't know the exact results of it, but did you see, or do you know what was happening to his body? Was he turning?
Yes, shortly after death, within a matter of a couple of hours, he started to turn black, particularly in his face, his hands, and his feet. And this is a characteristic sign of arsenic poisoning. At death, as the cells disintegrate, the blood cells disintegrate, arsenic is released from the body stores. And all poisons are stored in the fatty tissues of the body, and also are concentrated in the liver, which is the detoxifying organ of our bodies. As the arsenic is released from its complex binding to the tissues, it combines with the sulfur from the disintegrated cells to form arsenic sulfide, which is has a black color.
So he had all appearances of being poisoned by arsenic poison.
Correct.
Which could lead to cancer of the bladder?
Well, I strongly feel that the arsenic caused this cancer of the bladder. That is one of the common side effects of arsenic
He had
poisoning.
his bladder removed, as you know.
Correct.
And
it was replaced with a portion of his intestine, and then within about 4 months after, they noted that there was a spread of the tumor outside of the bladder.
So Ted was most likely poisoned.
Yes. Oh, it very definitely was. In fact, about 7 or 8 years ago, I had diagnosed him with arsenic poisoning because I had met him at a conference and noted that his fingernails were black particularly at the base, dark purple black. And so I told him what to do, and
Was this due to his attack upon the American Illuminati?
yes, very definitely, and also his attack upon the CIA, which is being controlled by the Illuminati.
The CIA is the enforcement arm of the CFR, is it not?
Correct, that's correct. His investigations led to the city investigation of the McMartin Nursery School, and he had also investigated the Captain McDonald case, where he was convicted of murdering his wife and children, which he did not. But Captain McDonald was attempting to break up the drug ring at the military base that was shipping cocaine, bags of cocaine in the body cavities of the dead soldiers.
That would be out of Vietnam.
Yes, yes, very much so.
That would be coming from the Golden Triangle, the
Correct.
Coon Saw operation.
Correct. So he got the enmity of the certain people in the CIA and the military and others who were using the drug traffic as a means of generating funds in order to stir up revolutions and so on and so forth.
So the CIA, rather than stopping drugs, is importing them from Afghanistan, which is the largest heroin producing area in the world today.
Correct, correct, very much so. And they use it for their black bag operations. Many years ago, Congress had refused to give money to the CIA unless they listed for what purposes that they were to be used. And so the CIA started getting involved in the drug racket.
So this is a way of funding black operations.
Correct, correct.
In your opinion, was Ted Gunderson murdered by an agency of this government? In your opinion, what would be your guess?
My speculative guess would be that yes. And, he explained to me that he found arsenic dust in his apartment, on his table, on his chairs, and in the air conditioning duct, and also inside his locked car, on the steering wheel, on the seats. So someone who has the ability to enter secretly a car in an apartment house and do all that without leaving any fingerprints indicates someone high up in the circles, so to speak.
Contact 1193, 193,